Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dave's Bucket. The new, highly anticipated American Express Platinum refresh is out. How does it compare with the Chase Sapphire Reserve? Let's talk about it. All right, so welcome back. I know I'm a day or two late on this, but that's okay. I have a life outside of travel. When I'm not traveling, I'm not thinking too much about it. So I knew the Carter refresh was out a couple days ago, and I'm sure there's tons of people that have beat me to the punch here on this. I'm not going to do a full review of American Express versus Chase Sapphire. I'm going to link a couple videos at the end. One where I fired American Express Platinum about a year ago and switched to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. That's the first video. The second one is when Chase raised the annual fee by $245 and added some new benefits. So I'll get into more detail in those particular um, videos, and I'll link them at the end. But I do want to just kind of comment on the changes. When I changed from American Express to Chase Sapphire, I knew that probably American Express would go back up. But when you think about kind of the overall big picture, and I'm going to round up by $5 on all this because it's just easier to do that way. So the new annual fee for American Express is $900. New annual fee for Chase is $800. So they actually leapfrogged. They raised their fee 200. And so, then you think, well, can I get another $200 worth of benefit out of it and all that good stuff? And so, when I really kind of look at that, if you just consider the travel credits alone, and by the way, this hasn't changed, but the calculation is different with the new fee structure. So the American Express at 900 minus the $200 travel credit gives you basically a $700 effective fee, and Chase at 800 minus the $300 credit gives you about a $500 effective fee. So Chase, wins that battle. And by the way, the Chase credit is way, way easier to use and much better. So the question is now with the changes, what makes American Express better? It's $100 more, but when you consider the travel credits, it's $200 more. And what else do you get for it? A lot of the benefits are unchanged, and I haven't dug too deep into some of the details around some of the new credits and and things like that. But I always have to look at it from my perspective, right? Now, the only reason I have any of these cards is to get lounge access, right? So I personally value Priority Pass at about 250, and that's 10 visits, $25 a pop. That's just something I came up with, but that makes it where Chase is really 250 that I have to get some value out of, and with American Express, it's a lot higher. And by the way, Chase lets me take a visitor into the Chase Lounge, whereas American Express doesn't. It depends on where you live and where you travel. Like I go through Atlanta, American Express Lounge is a great option, but I can't take my wife there. So, Chase has a better credit. And in my opinion, Chase has a little bit of a better lounge situation. Um, and so American Express, with their changes, they really seem to be hanging their hat on an increased hotel credit for the fine hotels and resorts. Okay. They've gone up to 600, 300 every 6 months versus Chase, which is 500, 250 every 6 months. So if you can use the new $600 credit with American Express, then you can justify this card, I think. Um, Here's the problem, though. I had American Express Platinum for 20 years, right? Way back before it was a couponing type situation and things like that. And do you know how many times I've used the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts in 20 years? I've never used it. Like I've never used it. So the fact that American Express has a slight edge on that versus Chase, I mean, They basically have the same program. American Express gives 600, Chase gives 500. That's it. You're not going to use it. And by the way, like I know what they're targeting. They're trying to get you to go out. You say, oh, I get a $300 discount in 6 months. But you have to buy a $1,000 a night hotel in many cases to get that. So like you're going to end up spending more money anyway. None of this applies to me. I've got millions of hotel points. I'm never going to like pay cash for one of these hotels. Probably. I do have a hotel I paid cash for coming up next month because there's no name brand hotels out in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand. But you know, um, this couponing and this lifestyle thing is just really annoying. It's like, is it a travel card or is it a lifestyle card? Now, in American Express's defense, hotels are travel. I get that. But, most of us aren't going to be spending $1,000 a night on the hotel. Now, if you are, I'm retired, but if you're still working, you're a high dollar consultant like I was, or a marketing person or whatever, you're traveling every week. If you can get away with expensing $1,000 hotel, more power to you, and you can get this benefit easily. I mean, you can get that $600, no problem. You have to stay at 2 of these hotels a year to get your $600. Um, Now, what's interesting though is the reaction that I've seen online, because I know I'm late. I'm a couple days late to the party, but I've watched a few videos, and it's just funny to see how people are spinning this as, oh, American Express beats Chase now, and they're trying to spin it as this great thing. And in my opinion, really the only difference is, the hotels went up. I mean, there's other changes. I get it, but like if you're not going to use these credits, what's the point? I think the American Express restaurant program may be a little bit better. Um, I don't know if I'll ever get any value of it. I've been trying to do DoorDash through Chase. I value that as like $10 a month max. So maybe I get $100 a year value out of it. For me to get the value out of Chase, I have to hang my hat on the StubHub credit. If I can use that, it paid for itself. As long as I go to Priority Pass Lounges 10 times a year and I'm able to use the StubHub credit, I'm good. But if I think about American Express, I do not see any way that I could get my money's worth out of that card. So I was thinking about maybe switching back. I'm going to be reviewing my situation once a year. And I thought, well, when Chase raised theirs, maybe I need to switch back to American Express. But now it's up to $900 a year. Plus I'm paying $350 for the Delta Platinum American Express. Man, they really are banking on people paying these high fees and not using the credits, I guess. I don't know how the money exchanges hands behind the scenes and stuff like that, but I don't get it. I really don't get it. I've said before, both of these cards are designed for millennials that travel a few times a year and go to a lounge a few times a year. That's not me. I'm a retired guy that spends a lot of money on business class. I go to lounges all the time. I don't care about, all those other little dinky dink credits. I mean, the new thing they're hyping on American Express is Lululemon. Well, guess what? I go to yoga all the time. I don't need, $100 yoga pants. Sorry about that. Not that they have that at Lululemon. I don't know what the heck they have, but I ain't going to be going there. I can tell you that. So anyway, that's my rant. Thank you for visiting. I really do appreciate it. I don't know why these people are hyping up this card. Like, are they getting paid? Just saying. I don't want to make too many accusations against other creators, but like I don't know how they can see this as such a great card, especially compared to Chase Sapphire Reserve. I still give Chase the thumbs up, in a comparison. So, but that's my situation. Thank you for visiting. Please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a like. I'm going to link my American Express and my Chase videos at the end. And wifey and I are headed to New Zealand here in a couple weeks. So look forward to several episodes on that. Thank you for visiting Dave's Bucket.